Hi students, welcome back to biology online classes. Hope all of you are doing good at home. So last class we stopped there in the topic organisms and their environment. And today let us see what is the topic for today. So we are going to learn about food chain and food web. In this topic we are going to see how the organisms are connected by their feeding habits. In this picture you can see some arrows from organisms to organism. You are going to see the explanation for such arrows. So what is meant by feeding relationship? Feeding relationship, from the picture it is very clear that one organism is eaten by another and that organism is eaten by another. So like this, as a chain, the food energy is getting transferred in an ecosystem. See another example. Here you can see a leaf, a caterpillar, bird and a fox. So this is an example for food chain. So a food chain is a sequence that shows how each individual feeds on the organism below it in the chain. So what is the meaning of this arrow? This arrow represents eaten by. So in this picture, a leaf is eaten by a caterpillar, which is then eaten by a bird, which is then eaten by a fox. So energy is getting transferred from one organism to another in the direction of the arrow as a chain. This is known as food chain. Another example. You can see from the plant species, worms eats the dead plant. Then it goes to the turtle. Turtle eaten by an eagle. Another example. See, so many organisms are connected by a chain. Here it starts with a grass, then grasshopper, frog, snake, hawk and a fungi. In other words, we can say grasses are the producers for the ecosystem. What is the meaning of a producer? Producers are the organism which makes their own food for the ecosystem or for their own purposes by using the raw materials and the sunlight energy. Here you can see all the plant species, all the food chain must starts from a producer because they are the producers of the food. Then the primary consumers. Consumer means who is eating. Primary consumers are grasshopper. Then it comes to the secondary consumer. Secondary consumer means the who eats on the primary consumer. Then the tertiary consumer. Tertiary consumer means it feeds on the secondary consumer. Then the final consumer, which feeds on the tertiary consumer or otherwise it feeds on other consumer levels also. Then at last, when it dies, it goes to the soil and then the decomposers are releasing the energy to the soil. The flow of energy through a single and straight pathway from the lower trophic level to the higher trophic level is known as a food chain. So we will see the trophic level again. So again, the explanation of a food chain with another example. A food chain shows how each living thing gets food and how nutrients and energy are passed from creature to creature. Food chain begins with a plant life and ends with animal life. Some animals eat plants, some animals eat other animals. Next is about food web. You can see here are also some arrows but they are interconnected. A plant species is eaten by so many species and they are eaten by another species. So in this model, it shows how different food chains are related or interconnected. You can see from plants to squirrel to the fox. And from here directly to the rabbit, rabbit to snake, snake to owl. Then another thing you can see it is eaten by grasshopper, grasshopper to frog, frog to snake. Then again the same thing, plant to caterpillar or grasshopper, then to frog, frog to owl. Then grasshopper, rat, then fox. See, another plant species directly by rat, then to fox. So here you can see so many food chains are interconnected. Such a food chain which are interconnected is known as food web. Another example for food web. I think it is almost same. So what is a food web? A more realistic way of looking at the relationship of plants and animals in an environment is known as a food web. So it is the way how they are eating in an ecosystem. We know one organism will not eat only on one type of species. It will eat so many different types of species. So food web is most realistic one. So here several food chains are linked. So what is my predator? Predator is the animal which attacks and eats on other animals. Prey, which is being eaten by. Then food web. See, again from grass to grasshopper, and shrew to hawk, and from the shrew to snake. Then another plant species to cricket is another type of insect to shrew. Then the cricket is directly fed by the frog to snake. Next, what I said, the trophic level. Any of the sequential stages in a food chain occupied by the producers at the bottom and in turn by primary, secondary and tertiary consumers. Then the decomposers are sometimes is considered occupy their own trophic level. That means each organisms in a food chain is known as a trophic level. As we saw, producers, then primary consumer, secondary consumer, tertiary consumer, and the final consumers. All of these organisms are in each or the different trophic levels. Water consumers. Before to that one, we should see producers. Producers are organisms which produce their own food from the raw materials and energy source. Consumers. Consumers are animals in a food chain that consumes other organisms. Primary consumers are organisms which feeds on the producers, that means plants and algae, or which can produce their own food. Then secondary consumers are organisms that eat primary consumers for the food energy. Primary consumers are always herbivores or organisms that only eat autotrophic plants. However, secondary consumers can either be carnivores and or omnivores. Then tertiary consumers are animals which feeds on both primary and secondary consumers. So next is about some energy pyramids. According to the number and the mass, body mass of the organisms, the energy relationship or the transfer of energy relationship can be drawn in the form of pyramids. So first one is pyramid of number. It is the arrangement of organisms based on their number. You can see. So here producers or the primary producers are more in number. Then herbivores or the primary consumers which are feeding on the plant species are less than that. Then the next one, the carnivores. Carnivores are less than the herbivores. Then the top carnivores will be lesser than the previous level. So while going like this according to number, we will get a pyramid shape. This is known as energy of or pyramid of number. So next is about pyramid of biomass. According to the body mass of the organism, it can be of two types. First one, pyramid of biomass, and second one, an inverted pyramid. First one is an example in a forest and in a pond. Producers will be more, then herbivores will be more, and the carnivores will be lesser than that. Producer, when we are taking the whole mass, body mass of the grasses and herbs in a forest, that will be more than the herbivores, means the animals which feeds on plants. Then from that one, the mass of lion and tiger or the secondary consumers will be lesser than herbivores. Here you can see when we are taking the body mass of plant species in the pond. Phytoplanktons means the algae present or the small plants present in the plant or on the pond water will be lesser than herbivores which feeds on them, that means insects, then their total body mass will be lesser than the small fish. Then the small fish will be lesser than the big fish. So like this, according to the body mass or biomass, the pyramid of biomass can be constructed. So to get more information about this food chain and food web, you can do reading at home. Pages 266, 267, 268 and 269 in the textbook. Thank you for watching.